Welcome to PM Ready, your guide to becoming PMP certified. This lesson is about the needs assessment, the business case, and the benefits management plan. Part 2. Now let's take a closer look at the business case and its contents. At a high level, the project business case has 4 main sections: the business needs section, analysis, recommendation, and evaluation. We'll go through each of these 4 sections in some detail in the following slides. The business needs section of the business case has these main elements to it. What is prompting the need for some action? It should also include a statement of the business problem or opportunity that is being addressed or that is proposed to be addressed by this project. It should also describe the value to be delivered. It should list some of the initial stakeholders that are affected, and it should have some description of scope, enough that it aligns well with the other parts of the business case. Next comes the analysis section of the business case document. This should include a description of the organizational strategies, goals, and objectives. It should identify the root causes or main contributors. It may also include a gap analysis of the capabilities needed for the project. In other words, it needs to identify what capabilities need to be added in order for this project to be successful. It should identify some of the known risks. More risk analysis will come later, but at this early stage, those risks that are known should be documented in the business case. Also, critical success factors. These will be success factors that need to align well with a project benefits management plan, but they should be summarized here as well. It should also include some decision criteria for how to determine which features are required, which are desired, and which are optional. And it should include a number of options or business scenarios of how you might proceed to address this need and solve this business case. These options should include the option of doing nothing, which is the status quo, doing the minimum amount of work, as well as other options. It should probably also include some identification of those things that are required in order to address this problem or opportunity, those things that are desirable, and those things that are optional. And finally, it should include some options that stakeholders can choose from. The first option should be the business as usual option, do nothing, or the status quo. And the next option should be, what's the minimum that we can do to meet those required elements to address this problem? And then there should probably be a few other options that include some of the desired or optional characteristics or features. Let's apply this to the example that we used earlier about the real estate firm that lost $10 million and wanted a document management system. The first option would be the status quo. That is to do nothing, continue with business as usual, and accept the fact that about every 10 years, you're going to lose about $10 million because you can't find the right documents in time. This is not a very attractive option, of course, but it serves as the baseline against which to compare all of the other options. Another option, of course, would be the one that was proposed to install a document management software system. Another possible option would be to organize a physical file room, a single physical file room, rather than having several, and to organize those files in a way and create and maintain indexes of all of those files so that everything can be found. This would probably involve hiring a file clerk or librarian of some sort whose responsibility it would be to make sure that all of these files are properly indexed and organized and accessible. And whenever someone wants a document, they have to go to the file clerk, and the file clerk will go find it and check it out to this person. Exploring these different options can help you to identify secondary or hidden needs For example, in this project that we've been talking about, another need that wasn't originally identified was that they only have physical copies of these documents, which is a potential problem. If there's a fire or something, they could lose this information. And so they need to have digital backups of everything as well. And so that makes the document management software system a more interesting option, or perhaps the physical file room along with an effort to digitally scan everything to make sure it's backed up. Another option to consider is that sometimes it's better to buy insurance than it is to try and avoid all possible problems and risks. Some examples in our daily life include buying car insurance or life insurance. We don't stop driving because it's dangerous, and we don't stop going about our normal activities because of concerns about dying. We buy life insurance and we buy car insurance. Of course, we probably combine these with changes to our behavior to avoid dangerous activities, but we also purchase insurance. Your business case document should also include, of course, a recommendation section. Of all the options that were identified in the analysis section, one should be chosen and recommended. This section should include a summary of the analysis results of the recommended option. It should also identify constraints, assumptions, risks, or dependencies with this recommendation, as well as how success will be measured. In addition to the recommendation, you will probably want to include an implementation approach and identify some of the key milestones, high-level dependencies, and broad roles and responsibilities on the project for this particular recommendation. The evaluation section of the business case document is a brief summary of how project success will be measured. It should include a statement that describes the plan for measuring benefits, and that should include all of the operational aspects of the project that come after the project is closed. Most of the project benefits usually come after the project is completed and can take several years to be realized. So where does this plan come from? It comes from the benefits management plan. Here in the evaluation section, you should include a summary of what's in the benefits management plan that is developed in parallel with the business case. The development of these two documents, the business case and the benefits management plan, is iterative. Developing the business case based on the benefits management plan can cause you to learn that there's a better option or approach to meeting the need that's identified in the needs assessment. This can change how you'll measure success, which changes the benefits management plan, and in turn can change the summary of the benefits management plan that is found in the evaluation section of the project business case. How is the business case used? The business case is a key document. It's the culmination of the pre-initiating work that's done to decide whether or not to proceed with the project. It not only determines whether to start work on the project charter, but also provides some of the key information to be included in it. The business case is not something that's put on the shelf and forgotten once the project charter is underway. The business case should be reviewed throughout the project to ensure that the project remains aligned with it. It's the sponsor's job to do this. He's the one that's accountable. But it's also up to the project manager to make sure that the sponsor is doing it, such as by scheduling regular reviews at key points during the project, such as when approving the project charter, at the completion of each phase of a multi-phase project, or at regularly scheduled intervals, such as monthly or quarterly reviews, depending on the project. The business case is also used at the end of the project as well as beyond. Along with the benefits management plan, it's used to determine whether the project has delivered the benefits it was meant to, and whether those benefits have been sustained as planned. Now it's time to have a closer look at the heart of the business case, which is the economic feasibility study. There are several common methods for measuring the economic feasibility of a project. These include the payback period or break-even point, the return on investment or ROI, the benefit cost ratio, the net present value, and the internal rate of return. Each of these will be covered in some depth in another lesson. And now we switch topics to cover benefits management. Very often the benefits of a project aren't realized until long after the project has been completed. So how will we know if the project has been successful unless we have a benefits management plan that outlines in some detail the steps that will be taken to measure project success after the project is over? For the next several slides, we'll cover the benefits management plan and how the measures of project success have changed over time. PMI defines the benefits management plan as the documented explanation defining the process for creating, maximizing, and sustaining the benefits provided by a project or program. Although you should be familiar with this definition, I would also add that the project benefits management plan describes how and when the benefits of the project will be delivered, and describes the specific mechanisms that should be in place to measure those benefits. So what should be in your project benefits management plan? It should start with a description of your target benefits, whatever your project is expected to yield in the long term, whether it's increased market share or profitability or improved market position or whatever. Your target benefits should also include a summary of the economic feasibility study that was done in your business case. It should also include some justification of how this project is strategically aligned with the goals of your organization. For example, if you're going to launch a new product, it should be consistent with your other products. It should provide a time frame for when those benefits are expected to be realized. If you have a project to launch a new product and you expect that it will take about 12 months to gain the level of market share you're after, then the plan should be that 12 months after the completion of the project, you're going to measure the increase in market share and see if you've reached your goal. Also, and this is very important, you should have an owner assigned to each benefit. Someone who's accountable to monitor, record, and report on the benefits. It should be very specific about the metrics that will be used to measure success and provide process and procedure for how that will be done. In addition, any assumptions or risks that are known at this time that could threaten the benefits should be documented. The benefits owner, the person who's accountable to monitor, record, and report on these benefits, doesn't have to be the same person as the sponsor. It may well be, but it doesn't have to be, as long as there is someone assigned who is responsible and who will be held accountable for the benefits. Remember the difference between accountable and responsible. The benefits owner may delegate much of the responsibility for monitoring, recording, and reporting on the benefits, but the benefits owner is the one who is accountable, the one throat to choke. The project sponsor is the one who is accountable for the development and maintenance of the project benefits management plan, which may be done by the sponsor, the PMO, the program, the portfolio, or any other stakeholder group. Notice that this is just like the project charter. The project sponsor is accountable, but may delegate this and very often does. And if you were wondering about the project manager's role in all of this, the project manager is responsible for providing the recommendations and oversight for keeping these documents aligned: the business case, the project management plan, the project charter, and the project benefits management plan, and making sure that their success measures are in alignment with one another and with the goals of the organization. The project sponsor is accountable for this alignment, but the project manager is responsible for oversight and for making recommendations to the project sponsor to help keep them aligned. The benefits management plan, along with the business case, is categorized as a project business document. All three of these, the needs assessment, the business case, and the benefits management plan, are all done prior to project initiation, prior to the project charter being done. And it also shares some information with the business case. The needs assessment is used to create the business case. The economic feasibility study from the business case is summarized in the benefits management plan, and the measures of success are summarized from the benefits management plan, are summarized in the business case. The business case then becomes the main document of these three that is an input to the project charter. So how is project success measured? It used to be that project managers tended to compartmentalize their role in project success and focus just on the time, cost, and scope. If a project was completed with the agreed scope and was completed on time and under budget, then it was considered a success. And whether or not the benefits were actually realized was considered something outside the scope of project management. More recently, this more narrow approach to the definition of project success has been replaced with consideration for meeting other project objectives. More specifically, it's important for the project manager to understand the business case and the benefits realization plan and the benefits management plan in order to make sure that the project that's been defined will actually deliver those benefits. And if it won't, the project manager has a responsibility to raise this issue with the project sponsor who's accountable for this alignment. Whether the project manager was involved in the project benefits management plan or not, the project manager should still ask the key stakeholders these three key questions surrounding project success. What does success look like for this project? How will success be measured? And what factors may impact success? Asking these questions and exploring the answers with key stakeholders can be critical to project success. The stakeholders may not have fully considered how success will be measured. They may have a rough idea of what success looks like, and you may find that different key stakeholders have different ideas about what success looks like. But very often, they won't have really thought about how they're going to measure the success. And it's also important to consider the factors that could impact success, both positive factors that could help it, as well as negative factors that you'll need to address in risk management. It's much better to ask and answer these questions early on, before the project has started, rather than waiting until later in the project or until the project is finished, only then to find out that your key stakeholders don't really see quite eye to eye on what success means and how it will be measured. Project success should be linked to organizational strategy and to the delivery of real business results. This can be as simple as linking it to the economic business case and measuring success in terms of money. You will also want to consider linking your project success to stakeholder satisfaction as well. You may find that you meet your financial goals, but if your stakeholders aren't happy, you've missed something. Also, if you're developing a new product or you're trying to expand market share, something that affects customers and end users, then you may want to include a metric that measures customer adoption or end user satisfaction or something like that. Or you may be developing an improvement in a business process or a new component that needs to be integrated into your corporate systems, and you'll need to have some way of measuring how well that new component or practice has been integrated and adopted into your operational environment. Some projects are all about organizational change, and you'll want to have metrics in place that measure how well people have accommodated this organizational change. You may want to specifically measure whether people are following the new processes and policies and the new organizational structure, or whether they're following the old processes and old structures. There may also be other non-financial objectives that you can include in your measurements of project success. These could include things like improved air quality or improved water quality. The important thing to remember is that you make sure you understand in detail what project success looks like and how you're going to measure it. There are many ways in which a project can be considered successful, at least in the old way, by measuring scope, time, and budget, and still be a failure. This could be because the project isn't properly aligned with the organization and the business case, or it could be because you fail to properly review the business case and the benefits management plan during the course of the project and fail to recognize that there has been a change in the business needs or a change in the market that would require you to change your project objectives as well. This is why the PMBOK guide says that the success of a project is measured against the project objectives and success criteria, and that in many cases, the success of a project is not known until some time after the project is complete. This lesson has covered the needs assessment, which helps to understand the need for the project, the business case, which is used to justify the project and outline or summarize the measures of success, the benefits management plan, which in detail spells out how success will be measured, and also covers the responsibilities of the project manager, who should ensure a good needs analysis, business case, and benefits management plan that are properly aligned with each other, the project charter, and the organization. PM Ready is a publication of PM Guaranteed and is based on the Project Management Institute's PMBOK guide.